Now, this all happened a couple weeks ago in another video that we posted called Can Ants from Different Species Become Friends? Well, in this video, we found out that it looks like they can. Because as you saw in that footage, those are two different species of ant feeding each other through trophallaxis. They had never met before. Those are both carpenter ants from two different species, and they were feeding each other as if they were from the same colony. It was an outstanding breakthrough. And so I decided to test out really how strong their friendship was. So that's where this experiment comes in. That colony that you see in the upper left is the home colony of the Camponotus novae worker that we used in the friendship experiment. Now, those are the two workers that became friends. And so the point of this part of the experiment was to see if this colony would accept the worker from a different species into their own colony because one of its own members had made friends with a colony from a different species. So the Pennsylvanicus worker is in front. It's kind of hard to distinguish them because they're both really darkly colored. The novae then picks up the scent of her own colony, but the Pennsylvanicus immediately inquires as to where she's going. She then proceeds to tell him and moves over to her own colony. Now, her own colony hasn't seen her for the past 2 days, so they most likely presumed her dead. Instead of the warm welcome that you'd think she would receive after being gone for 2 days, she receives jabs and nips from her sisters as they run around excitedly, seemingly picking up the scent of her new friend. The Pennsylvanicus worker then comes over to see what the ruckus is about, but then immediately retreats, realizing that he's outnumbered. The worker from the novae colony is now completely motionless, as if she's scared of something, or if she said something she should not have. All of a sudden, a worker jabs at her, grabs her leg, and starts pulling her to the back of the colony. The worker then kept her there, completely captivated. The Pennsylvanicus worker is suddenly drawn to the action that's going on, but is scared away by the patrolling worker. The queen then also comes to investigate, and the worker is chased away again. Meanwhile, the poor novae worker is still held captive by her own sister, as she is forced to watch the hunting down of her friend. The worker, the friend of the Pennsylvanicus, is still held back, forced to watch her friend be brutally murdered. As soon as the Pennsylvanicus worker was killed, the novae worker was released, and she was forced to watch her friend die, killed by the very mother that she had been born from. Now, what seems to have happened was when the novae worker first appeared to the colony, she told them about what had happened, about how she made the friend with this Pennsylvanicus worker, and then the colony decided to hold back the novae worker to keep her from interfering with the murder of her friend, which, if true, provides insight to a really, really interesting and intelligent aspect of ant communications and ant intelligence as a whole. I then saved her from immediate death and gave her back to the colony that she was born in, where she lived out the last of her days.